Hello everyone, this is Yana, and today I have a video featuring two cards made using almost identical supplies but different color palettes. Both of these cards have beautiful flowers that were colored using different products. One was colored using alcohol markers and the other one using watercolor pencils. I will focus on these a bit during my video. Now, the stamps and dies featured in this video are from the new Simon Says Stamp Hop to It release, and this video is actually a part of a blog hop, so be sure to stop by my blog to see the blog hop details and join in on all the fun. So here are the products that I will be using to create my cards today. I have two beautiful stamp sets. First up is a sentiment set called Hand Lettered Encouragement. I absolutely love this "You Are Remarkable" sentiment. I think it's perfect for many occasions. And there are lots of other great encouraging sentiments in this set. And what I really like is the big and bold font. I think that these sentiments would look spectacular when stamped in black ink, and this is actually what I'm going to be doing today. Now, the second stamp set that I have is called Artful Flowers, and I really like those outline floral images. There's lots you can do with them. You can stamp the outline in black and color them using matching solid images, or you can first stamp the solid image in a bright color and then stamp the matching outline in white ink. I think that would look very beautiful. You can also use the solid images on their own, and the same goes for the outline images. You can, of course, color these using markers, pencils, daubers, just really anything. There are also separate centers for these flowers so that you can stamp the centers in different color as well. Stunning flowers, and you can never have too many flower stamp sets. I've already created a card base, and it's an A2 top folding card. I'm going to be doing some stamping directly on this card base using black ink. I want to protect my work surface, so I'm using a piece of thin printer paper, and I also want to make sure my card base stays closed and doesn't move while I do my stamping. So I'm going to use removable adhesive from Scrapbook Adhesives and tape this card base shut and also tape it down to my printer paper. I'm going to use Hero Art's black ink and stamp this sentiment going diagonally. I'm going to try to fill the entire front of my card with this beautiful handwriting. I'm going to be lining these sentiments, or this sentiment, trying to create one continuous "You Are Remarkable" sentiment. So I'm going to line up the top part of the sentiment with the bottom part to create one continuous line, and I'm going to keep doing this until I have the entire front of my card stamped. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but no handwriting ever is, so this is actually a good thing for this card. Now, if you don't like black, if you think it's too bold, you can use a different color. I tried this with gray. The ink pad that I used was a little bit too dry, so the impressions weren't perfect. But I still like this color, and you can see the difference here between a black and a gray background. Now, you can definitely try this with any other color, maybe a light yellow or a light blue. It doesn't have to be black. I simply wanted to have a bold background for this card, so that's why I went with black. After my background is ready, I'm going to set it aside and start working on my flower images. I'm going to stamp all of the outline florals using Memento Tuxedo black ink. I plan to do some coloring using alcohol markers, and if memory serves me right, this is the best ink for that. So I'm going to stamp about 3 of each flowers. I originally planned to use only 3 on my card, 1 of each size, but ended up using 5. I stamped about 9 because I knew I might mess something up, so I wanted to make sure I had enough flowers stamped so that I didn't have to go back and do my stamping again. Now, to color these, I'm going to use Chameleon Pens or Chameleon markers. I've picked out a few colors. I have the Aquamarine, Summer Sun, which is a bright yellow, and Spring Meadow, which is a nice bright green. Now, Chameleon pens are alcohol-based markers like Copics, but the way you use them is very different. It's kind of hard to get used to them, especially if you know how to color with Copics. You want to do the same thing here, which doesn't really work with these markers. But they are really cool, and I would say that these are easier to use than Copics. They do require a little bit of education and practice, and I have to say I like the end result that they give me. I have a 22 marker set with 20 colored markers and a colorless blender and a black outline pen. I'm no expert on these. I've only had them for about 3 months now, and I haven't had much practice with them, but I challenged myself to use them on this video. Now, there are lots of great video tutorials on the Chameleon website, so if you would like to know more about these markers, please be sure to check their website to learn more. If you've never seen these markers before, they have a built-in mixing chamber, and what it does, it allows you to get lots of shades of one color from just one marker. For example, when working with Copic markers, you need 3 shades of one color or 2 shades of one color to achieve depth and dimension. You can do the same with just one Chameleon marker. It does take some practice, but you get the hang of it. So the marker has 2 parts, the actual marker and a mixing chamber with a blending solution. The marker itself has 2 ends, a brush nib and a bullet nib. By inserting the either nib into the mixing chamber, you infuse the marker with a toning medium, and by doing this you can change the color of your marker. So let's see these markers in action. I'm going to zoom in here a bit so you can see a little better. And I'm going to insert the marker into the mixing chamber and infuse it for about 10 seconds. If you infuse it longer, you're going to have a bigger or a longer blend. And if you infuse it for a shorter period of time, you're going to have a smaller or a shorter blend. Now, it might seem like all of this infusing takes a lot of time, but in the end, the time you spend coloring and blending with other alcohol-based markers is about the same. Now, the trick here to have the best result is to hold your marker vertically, like perpendicularly to your paper. This is what I'm doing here, and that's why you can't really see anything. If you hold it at an angle, the ink comes out a little differently, and the blending doesn't look very even or seamless, I guess. And the way you color is you start from the lightest point and you move to the darkest, going in a back and forth motion, moving away from the lightest area. Like I said, it's different from Copic markers, and at first I really wanted to go back to the lightest area and blend a bit more. So just keep in mind that these require a little bit of education and practice. If you've never used any alcohol-based markers before, it's probably going to be easier for you to learn how to use these. Okay, so I colored several flowers using the colors that I mentioned earlier, and you can see the beautiful result that I was able to achieve on each flower using just one marker. I really like the teal one the most. Such a beautiful color, and the blending there looks beautiful. Now I'm going to use the matching dies called designer flowers to cut these out, and I have to say I love that there are matching dies for just about anything these days. No need to spend time cutting those out with my scissors. Now before I add my flowers to my card base, I'm going to erase the removable adhesive that I added to my card base to keep the card flat and to tape it down to my printer paper. Now this is a fun adhesive eraser from Teresa Collins. It does the job beautifully. I got this in a kit with a bunch of other kinds of adhesive from Teresa Collins, but I'll check if it's sold separately. It is a very good eraser. Now to give my flowers a bit of shine, I'm going to use the Castella glitter pen, and I'm going to add some glitter to those. It does make a difference in real life, and these flowers start to look better with that glitter on. Okay, it's time to adhere these onto my card base. I'm going to use scrapbook adhesive foam squares to give this card a bit of dimension, and I'm going to adhere all of these in the center. I'm also going to add 2 more flowers later. And notice that I curled the petals a bit. I think that the flowers look a little bit more, a little better this way. Now, I want this card to have an additional sentiment. I want to use the You Are Amazing die from Simon and die cut that sentiment out of black cardstock. I want my die cut to be like a chipboard die cut, so I'm going to cut this sentiment several times and adhere the layers together to make a one thick die cut. In order to make this process a faster and an easier one, I'm going to use Stick-It adhesive sheets from Ken Oliver. I got those as a sample at CHA, and I think this is the second time I'm using this product. If you're not familiar with this adhesive, I have a video from CHA where Ken demos it, so be sure to check it out. So I'm basically going to add adhesive to my black cardstock, going to die cut the sentiment several times, and then use the adhesive to adhere the layers together to make one thick die cut. If you don't have adhesive like this, you can use glue or double-sided tape. After my sentiment was ready, I adhered it onto my card. On top of the flowers, I used the matte adhesive from Ranger. I also added some natural twine from May Arts to make this a little bit more feminine, and a couple of black pearls from Want to Scrap. And that finished my first card. I love the way it turned out, especially the bold and bright colors. I also wanted to make this card in a little softer color palette, and I really wanted to try to watercolor these flowers. So I heat embossed a bunch of those onto some watercolor paper. I embossed them on a non-textured side and used my Hero Arts white detailed embossing powder. To color these, I decided to use my Faber Castell Watercolor Pencils. I've had these for a long time, but I never had a chance to use them, so today is the day to try new products for me. I picked a few colors that I liked and also a water brush. Now, to color these flowers, I'm going to add a bit of color using my pencils near the flower center to each of the petals. I don't want to color the entire petal using the pencil, as I want the color to be darker in the center and lighter at the ends. I'm going to achieve that color blend using a water brush. You can also do this with the Wink of Stella glitter pen. I've seen Christina and Jennifer do this and it looks gorgeous. Or you can use a regular paintbrush for this. So to have that watercolor look, start at the center, at the darkest area, and work your way blending the color out, moving away from the center. This is going to give you a nice subtle blend. If you feel you have too much color on your brush, just clean it on a piece of paper. I like to wipe it on my hand so that I don't lose the moisture that I have there, and then go back to blending and pulling the color and coloring the petals some more. I find this process very addictive and therapeutic. I like any type of coloring, and when I do, I tend to color a ton of stuff at once. Now, if you want to add more color to the center, you can pick up the color directly from the pencil with your brush. This way, the color is going to be a lot more intense and vibrant. You can also mix 2 or 3 colors together. I did that on some of the flowers you can see here. I used 2 or 3 pencils to start coloring and mix them to create a new color. So here you can see the way my second card turned out. I love both of them. The first one for the bright colors and the second one for the beautiful watercolor flowers. So this finishes up today's video. Be sure to stop by my blog to check out the blog hub. As always, the list of supplies I used to create these cards can be found in the video description and also on my blog. If you'd like to see more videos using products from Simon Says Stamp, be sure to check out the link you see on the screen. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I have new card making videos coming out every week. Thanks for watching. Bye!